Ryan, what do you hope to accomplish the first week or so here of training camp as you guys get back into it?
Just to get better every day, get more comfortable with calls and checks and alignments and things like that. A lot of carryover from the springtime in the first 2 days, which is awesome to see. Guys' bodies look a little bit different. Tank's done a great job with them in the weight room. Guys are confident. The volume of communication has been awesome. Still, it ain't big boy football yet, but happy with the progress from day one to day two.
You mentioned some carryover from spring ball, but what's different about camp? Just as
Camp it's real now, right? Like we're gonna start keeping score here in a little bit. There's gonna be a winner and a loser in a couple of weeks. So just the urgency, the importance of the attention to detail and the intensity with which we're preparing and executing that practice is heightened because it's about to get real.
Got a lot of guys changing positions. How have you kind of felt the progress of maybe some of those linemen moving to linebacker, things like that so far?
It's day two from the position changes from the springtime, but guys have embraced it. Everybody. That's what's awesome about this team. Up to this point is they're putting the team first. There's not a lot of egos out there, so guys are just willing to do whatever it takes to sacrifice for the team and give us a chance to be successful.
You also had Vertis moving from offensive to defensive line. What went into kind of that decision on your end?
Just the position, the need for us defensively. Coach B came up with the idea, and Vertis has embraced it, and I think it'll be beneficial for both parties.
What's your impressions of Jake Hansen been as you got to know him over the course of the last few months?
Yeah, I've been very impressed. He's obviously he's an experienced guy. Got a lot of confidence. He's an alpha personality. I've been impressed with the way he moves around, and he didn't take a rep in the springtime. So for his execution within the scheme, through 2 days of install has been impressive.
As you start to get guys healthy at that position who weren't available in the spring, what's your assessment of just kind of what you have?
I was happy in the springtime coming out of that group, and so it's just added to the depth, it's added to the competition, which in turn makes us better defensively.
A lot of veterans at safety, figuring out what their roles are. What have you thought about that group so far?
I really like the way they pay attention to meetings. I like the way they fly around at practice. Obviously we put a lot of onus on them to make checks and make calls. But I've been pleased with the way they've done that. You got a spider on you, dog. There you go. They're still a work in progress. We've got a lot of similar guys, so trying to figure out what spot is best for them, which best 11 gives us a chance to be successful on Saturdays is something that that competition is something that I'm looking forward to throughout fall camp.
Asked Tony this too. You guys have an element of surprise with your defense. How big of an advantage is that coming into the first week?
It's an advantage for sure. I think I would believe, and it's when we're going against an offense that we haven't seen before. There's always some uncertainty there, but that's going to be game one across the country. I'm sure Nebraska's going to have wrinkles and things that we haven't seen on tape. But I definitely think the element of surprise is to our advantage, and we have to take advantage of that.
We've only had Eddie Smith for 2 days, but what have you kind of been impressed by, and what kind of things do you think you may need to work on after these 2 days?
Eddie's a veteran guy. He's an older guy. So his attention to detail in meetings and being able to execute from the meeting to the practice field has been impressive. But I've only seen him for 2 days. So we got a long ways to go in terms of competition and ironing out the depth chart.
Ryan, what does Prather bring your program? I know he was here in the spring, but what have you seen him bring?
Consistency, man. He works his butt off every day, no matter what the scenario is. It's just who he is. So that leadership, the example that he has set, the standard that he has set for, especially for our room in the secondary, has been key, and you can't put a price on that.
Coming from Georgia, what does that do for the team culture, given that he's already come from a program that has had so much success?
I think it's definitely beneficial. He's been a part of a program that has won a lot of games and has always competed for championships. So the guys look at him, and it's obvious in the way he works. And so, it was impressive throughout the winter conditioning. That guy was busting his tail off, and if you weren't busting your tail off, Prather was going to beat you. So. That mentality has definitely been beneficial for us.
Where do you see him maybe fitting in your defense? I know he's very versatile. Have you maybe pigeonholed him?
No, not really pigeonholed. But he's good in the slot. Really good. He's really good there. But we'll start moving guys around, especially in the safety room, here in the next couple of days.
Ryan, I know you're not pads, but is more snaps per game an expectation for Calvin Avery this year, and what you feel like you can get on him?
I mean, it's too early. I'll tell you this: he's in probably the best shape he's been in since I've been here for sure. And he'll tell you the same. But it's too early. It's it's day 2, so we don't know with snap count and all that kind of stuff with the whole roster.
What do you need out of that star nickel position? Like what kind of
Versatility. They got to be able to cover. They're obviously closer to the box, so they got to be physical in the run game, and you got to be able to do a lot of adjusting, to motions and different formations. So you got to be versatile as an athlete, and you got to be smart football player, have high football IQ.
Someone like Tony, who's had so much experience, what are the traits you're looking for, like maybe a number 1 type of corner? What kind of personality, mindset?
Consistency and confidence, and he exudes both of those. He had a couple plays today that he probably wishes he could have got back, but those are plays I've seen him make on a routine basis. And he from a talent standpoint, he's got it all, and from a mentality standpoint, he's what you want in a corner for sure.
Obviously, you needed some depth at outside linebacker. Shimon moves out there, obviously down the road. But what do you think he can add there?
He's one of the stronger guys we got on the team. He's got good length in terms of his arm size and hand size. He was willing to make that move. Like I said, all these guys are willing to do what it takes to put the team first, and he's embraced that. I know Coach Kane is happy he's in that room, and he had some depth and some competition there.
What would you, just in the last 8 months, consider was maybe the most important thing for you as a coordinator, just to get to the point where yesterday things picked up, the guys were as ready as possible?
For me as a coordinator, just the people that I have around me, our defensive staff is awesome, and we hold each other accountable. We bounce ideas off of each other. We're comfortable having uncomfortable conversations and ironing things out in terms of what style of defense and how we handle certain formations and adjustments. And so just having that trust factor within the staff has been huge for me personally. As far as the defense goes, just being consistent every day, from player to coach, from coach to player, and just continue to build trust within the defensive unit is something that we've really focused on from the start of it. And we continue to build that and build that camaraderie so that when the Bullets are live and we do encounter some adversity, we can lean on the experiences that we've gone through the past 8 months. So I think that has been pivotal for us in terms of our success moving forward.
What are your expectations for Owen Carney as an outside linebacker?
Just to be the best Owen Carney he can be. I'm not going to put too much on him. I think he puts enough on himself. But he has been working really hard. I've been impressed with the way he has handled this off season and the summer. He's been a model of consistency. He's got great leadership, and so I'm looking forward to watching him play on Saturdays.
Todd Perry's a guy who was pretty disruptive in his first Big Ten year last year. I know you just now getting to see him out on the field. What you thought of him, and was he added to the D-line?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he adds experience and depth, but it's 2 days with no pads on, so I can't tell you how strong he is. I can't tell you how physical he is yet, but definitely happy he's healthy and he's pivotal for our depth at that spot.
You played for a Big 12 team that moved to the Pac-12. You coach for an SEC team
Yeah.
that's adding a couple.
Yeah.
Big 12. What's that like for you to see? What do you think of all this?
I mean, it's crazy. I think the landscape is definitely changing, but I can't get too caught up in it. I'm just trying to get practice 3 ironed out. So, but it is definitely interesting. I think it's good for the sport. Just to add competitiveness and add some attention to what this profession is, and I think it's beneficial for the kids too. Everything that's going on with NIL and just their value is being paid attention to, and I think that's important.